the Thing with your host, Judy Sleed, and special guest, Ruth Appelhof, Executive Director of Guildhall. And now here's Judy.
That is such a wonderful introduction, Carrie. You do look like Cary Grant, you know. And I'm so happy to invite Ruth Appelhof. This is the second time I asked her to come back because we have a lot to discuss, which we didn't have time for the first time she was here. But before we go into that, I just want to brag a little bit, and I asked Ruth to hold up a newspaper article that was written about me and this show. And Ruth, you saw that in where?
I did. It was in the Southampton Press, and congratulations. I think the article speaks well of you and this great production. We really appreciate your being here in our community. You've been here doing the program less than a year.
Yes.
You're already getting great publicity. And what you do for all of us in the arts is enormous. Well, thank you very, very much, and congratulations.
Thank you for helping me with this.
Great.
Okay, well, as I said, Ruth was here once before, and we discussed a lot of things that's going on in the theater at Guildhall and the John Root Theater. But one of the things I was very impressed when I read your resume is that you are raising and managing a budget in millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody would look at you, I would think you're a model or an actress instead of taking care of such big money. It's a very serious business.
Yes, actually, the theater and the museum and the education department at Guildhall are part of a business. A nonprofit business, but one that does have to balance its budget every year, and we're very committed to doing that. Luckily, we have a lot of friends in this community, and it's their contributions, whether it's in kind, such as the work that you're doing that helps Guildhall, or whether it's financial, or we have 300 volunteers. The whole community really does help support us in many, many ways, and we can't do it without their help. But that's why we're a community organization, is that we have them.
Yes, but you've done this before.
I have, yes.
In Western Virginia?
Yes.
For the FY company. What's an FY?
Well, I was actually at the Art Museum of Western Virginia. Mm-hmm. I was there for 5 years as the director of that museum. Which was in Roanoke, Virginia, is in Roanoke, Virginia. It's a great museum. They have a wonderful collection of American Impressionist paintings and folk art, outsider art. And we did a lot of exhibitions and programming. In fact, while I was there, the conductor of the symphony was Victoria Bond. And Victoria now lives out here and in New York. She's still composing and conducting symphonies all over the world. She just did a piece that was at Longhouse. So she continues to work and flourish and bring the arts to us. And when we met each other out here, we thought it was somewhat of a wonderful coincidence, I think, to have her in this community. Yeah, yeah.
And not only that, but you have a fellowship from 2 places with the Whitney Museum and a Helena Rubinstein.
Yeah.
That's very prestigious.
Well, it was what turned the corner for me. I'm a little embarrassed that you're reading my resume now, but thank you for caring. But when I was actually teaching for the State University of New York for 10 years and had an opportunity to take a sabbatical. The Whitney Museum has a wonderful program for fellows, and I applied for that, not really thinking that I would get the position. There were only 12 positions available, and people apply from all over the world. but they were kind to me and accepted my application, and I spent then the year 1980 in New York working with the Whitney and organizing exhibitions.
Well, maybe, excuse me, I would say that you deserved it and you were kind to them.
Well, I don't know, but it was a great
Yes.
experience, and actually one of the people that helped me the most is a woman who is now the director of the new museum in New York. Her name is Lisa Phillips, and she, at that time, was my boss of the independent study program, and I learned a great deal from her, and I always like to have an opportunity to thank her when I can.
Well, I was just blown away by reading all this. No wonder, I mean, you had so much experience, and this is a very, very important job, and you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. It was really the my experience at the Whitney that took me away from teaching, those 10 years of teaching, into the museum field, doing curating and then directing. That led me to Guildhall, which of course is absolutely the most wonderful job anyone can possibly have.
And you have a lot of shows like for artists, paintings.
Yes, we do. We do. We are like a three-ring circus. We have wonderful exhibitions in the museum. We have wonderful education programs, outreach programs to the community, and of course the theater, which we're always so proud of. And all of that is going on simultaneously. So it all goes on. We try very hard, and I know the staff really makes an effort to actually integrate a lot of these programs so that it appears to the public that we have kind of an overarching goal. We have some plans that are kind of directing all of these various sectors of programming. Yeah, but it's very exciting there.
Well, the theater is called the John Drew Theater.
Correct.
And
yeah.
the rest of the building is the Guildhall, what, the gallery
Yes.
and all.
Well, the John Drew Theater is part of Guildhall.
Yes.
And also then we have the Moran Gallery and the Woodhouse Gallery, that's part of the museum. We have the Spiga Gallery, another gallery, and then the education department. So there are a lot of different aspects of Guildhall.
Yeah,
and
the
they
theater
all-
is in the middle, and on two sides you
That's
have
right.
the galleries.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So while we are waiting, the other day when I went to see Moby Dick rehearsed, I got there early, so I got to
good.
the museum at the left and the right, and I saw those wonderful exhibits.
Did you like them?
Very interesting, that lady, I mean, I should remember Cindy somebody.
Yeah, Cindy Sherman.
Cindy
Right.
Sherman. I can't believe that's all her.
I know, remarkable.
As a clown, as a debutante, and all different shapes and forms, and she did it herself. It's just amazing.
Isn't it amazing? What Cindy has done is take what I always thought was kind of the one thing you could believe about a photograph, and that is that it would be a snapshot of reality. You know, whether it was your family on the beach or whatever, that they were there, that was a moment in time, and you took that photograph. But she makes up stories and takes photographs. Of course, the stories are all about her experience, her imagination. They're not really self-portraits, but she is behind that mask, really trying to, I think, reach us with her insights about humanity, and especially about women. She really examines women's roles, and we're very fortunate to have her in the community. She lives in Sag Harbor, and she's been tremendously supportive of Guildhall.
Yes, well, her work is really marvelous.
Isn't
And I
it?
saw a lot of abstract paintings
Yeah.
that so many different kinds. It's not all the same.
Well, that's work
Yeah.
by Robert Rauschenberg.
Yeah.
And Rauschenberg has been one of the world-renowned artists in the modern period. You know, came into his own in the 60s. Actually, I love to tell the story about Rauschenberg and Jasper Johns coming out to East Hampton. They came out in the 50s as young men, gathered together with a lot of the, the great art community that we have out here. They were part of that community. John Gruen photographed them, so there is documentation of Jasper and Robert Rauschenberg on the beach with all their friends. Anyway, they came out and stayed with Tina Frederick, the real estate developer, and Tina let them have the house for a week. Evidently, they then, learned about East Hampton, and it's very exciting for us to now have Rauschenberg back in our galleries. The show that is there now is called the Hoarfrost Series. And hoarfrost, you probably know, is the ice that accumulates on a window, in the late fall or early spring when you wake up and you see frost on your window. So the delicate pattern of that frost is similar to the fabrics that are hanging in the exhibition. It's a very unique collection of works because Rauschenberg did them in the 70s, the mid-70s, and they were exhibited then, but then never again in their totality, a few of them once in a while. So we're very fortunate. David White, who was the curator for Robert Rauschenberg, arranged to have us exhibit these wonderful works that are many, many layers of beautiful, soft fabrics. Quite amazing.
Well, I just want to remind the audience we're talking to Ruth Appelhof from Guildhall, the executive director. And as I mentioned before, I went to see Moby Dick rehearsed, which is not just the play Moby Dick. This is Moby Dick rehearsed, which Tony Walton had. He really wanted to. He loved it so much. He saw it in London several times when Orson Welles directed it, and I guess he's a fan of Orson Welles.
Very much.
So now finally he's doing it here at Guildhall. You gave him permission to do it, right?
Well, we were very, very fortunate that he is in the community. He has been very closely affiliated with Bay Street Theater, and when we talked to him about this project, he said, well, I love Guildhall's stage because it looks so much like an old derelict ship with all the ropes and the sandbags and the brick wall.
And you took it as a compliment.
I certainly did. Because of course he is a great stage designer, has won Oscars and Emmys.
Yeah, a lot of awards.
Wonderful, wonderful, talented man. And as a director, he is just marvelous. He has great passion, compassion for all the people, all the actors and all the stage crew, and he really brings out the talent that they have.
Well, he did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe all the action and the different, and it was just such a wonderful production. I was sitting like this, when are they going to stop? They're going to fall down, they're going to be so tired. It was just wonderful.
It has a lot of action to it. There's a lot of things happening on that stage. And what Tony has done is really invite the audience to take this voyage on the high seas. So he often says, well, at the end of the play, you might feel a little seasick. And it is a very, very inspiring play. And yes,
and it has a lot of imagination. It's just wonderful.
I think that really is what the play is about. I think in my heart, the play is about how you can transform a theater experience into something so real that you, as the audience, really feels the splash of the wave and the,
Yes,
you know, you can
and you
feel
could-
the creak of the ship and the way it's
And the
swaying
whale.
back and the whale.
And the whale.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is a whale, although he's off stage, but but you know he's there. And Peter Boyle is starring in
Oh,
it
that's right,
as Ahab.
yes.
He's quite an amazing figure, very, very imposing, and I feel is just the perfect person, the perfect actor for this part, because he has such presence. Remember, Ahab only has one leg.
Yes.
So he kind of,
Yeah.
you know, goes back and forth on this one leg. And of course, the story is all about vengeance and the actual struggle between the inner man, Ahab, who wants this vengeance. He wants to get back because Moby Dick took his leg. He wants to kill Moby Dick at any cost.
Yeah, he abandoned his family.
Yes.
And all his life he's been after this whale.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it was a very much a story about how one's ego can get beyond your capabilities, and I think it's a good lesson for all of us. But
It sure is.
yeah, yeah. The other actors in the play, and by the way, it was produced by Josh Gladstone, whom I know you've had on this show.
Oh,
and-
yes, he's my second favorite actor, because Raphael is my first.
Oh. And also in the production is Michael Nathanson,
Oh, yes.
Who
I
is
recognized him right away.
Ishmael. Isn't he brilliant?
He was in
Brilliant.
Hamlet.
Yes, he was Hamlet.
He was, yes, he's really
Brilliant
wonderful.
young man. And
Excuse
one
me.
of the other actors, Shashi Beluga,
Oh,
was there,
yes,
and
he's going to be on my show.
He will be wonderful on your show. What a
The reason
great
he
talent.
didn't come because he was rehearsing, and
Yeah.
Tony wouldn't let him take time
Yeah.
off.
Good. Well, and by the way, I wanted to mention that the play is on through September 11th, and I hope people will call for tickets, 324-4050. But we would love for everyone in the community to have a chance to see this great play. It is such a commitment that we all feel very, very strongly about. The
And it's
board,
very
the staff.
educational.
Well, it is. I mean, think of it. A Moby Dick story about the whaling industry out here is perfect. You know, I think of all of the stories that we can tell, it's the whaling industry that really is close to our community here.
Yes, well, I took my cameraman here, is 12-year-old Michael, and I took him to see Moby Dick, and because I thought it will be educational for him, for school, and I was looking at him all the time. I said, when is he going to fall asleep? But he was awake all the time. He enjoyed it.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
Yes.
Well, there is a magic to this play. The lighting is incredible. The sound, we actually had someone write the music for it. So I don't know if you noticed that,
I
but
did.
There's harmonica music and beautiful,
yes.
beautiful sound all the way through. And at the end, you know, this enormous tragedy, the music is just incredible. It really takes you over the top.
Yes, it was a magnificent production.
It really, really is. And I hope a lot of people come to enjoy it. It's Guildhall's first time to do a big time, fully staged production in many, many years. And I'm
Really?
very proud of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. And you know, we love theater. We're very fortunate to have not only Tony Walton helping us, but also Mercedes Rule, who
Oh, she
is-
helped also.
She's been so much a supporter of good theater, of very serious theater. And as you may remember, last summer she did the story of Peggy Guggenheim, Woman Behind a Mirror. She did that as a play reading, and it went off to Broadway. So I
saw
like
her
to
in
say that
something
we,
else.
well, she was also in the Frida Kahlo play last summer.
And I think I saw her in a play reading.
Yes, yeah, she did a reading this summer as well.
Some Irish play. I forget the name.
Yeah, she was there this year too. And she really has said to us that she wants the theater to grow and to prosper, and she's willing to support that in any way that she can. And when you have a great talent like that in the community who's pitching for you and helping you in every way, it means a lot.
So Ruth, how did you get to the Hamptons?
Oh, well,
From the other side of the world?
yeah, I got lucky. That was the first thing. And actually, I was living in Connecticut, the director of the Hillstead Museum in Farmington, Connecticut. And at the time, learned about this job here. And I thought, wow, this is perfect for me because, in fact, I had been here in 1975 as a student. And Lee Krasner invited me here. I was doing my master's thesis on her, and she said, come out for the summer, and you can interview me, and you know, she'll help me write my master's thesis. So actually, it was a great opportunity. By 75, of course, Jackson Pollock had died in 56, so she was living in the house alone and asked me to stay in the guest room there. And I didn't learn until I got out here that Lee couldn't drive. So in fact, I was both scholar and chauffeur. And so I got to drive her around to all the parties and, you know, help her with the groceries, and we became great pals. And she was quite wonderful to me, and I did finish my master's thesis, and, you know, always have thought that Lee Krasner deserves much more attention than she gets. You know, it's usually Jackson that gets the accolades. But more and more, her paintings are becoming very, very important. And I noticed recently that one of her paintings sold for over $1 million. So she's coming into her own. I'm very excited
Well, she
about
gave
that.
up a lot for Jackson.
She did give up a lot. In fact, the story goes that she scraped down a lot of her paintings and gave him the canvas.
Yes.
Because they were too poor for both of them to have the canvas.
And she just gave up her career to help him.
Yeah.
To concentrate on him, yes.
You know, she continued working, but actually she used this small bedroom, the guest room that I was in, as her studio. So of course she did small paintings, right? And then after he passed away.
You're lucky she didn't paint on you.
No, but she was definitely a wonderful, wonderful, strong person, and one that deserved a lot of attention and is getting it now. Unfortunately, she's passed away, so I'm just hoping that we can carry her talent, making sure that everyone knows how important she is.
So what's the next production after Moby Dick?
Well, actually, I wanted to also mention that we're doing a play reading, 2 readings that are coming up September. Make sure I've
with
got the
that
date.
with Mitzi Pizer?
Yes, Mitzi is doing it, and it's coming up September 4th, 8 p.m., that's the Sunday evening. 2 Arthur Miller plays. I think they're going to be wonderful. Joan Copeland, who is Arthur Miller's sister, is going to be starring in them.
She's his sister?
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Did you know that?
No,
I didn't know either. And Paul Hecht will also be in them. And one of them is called Elegy for a Lady, directed by Trish Sandberg. And the other one is I Can't Remember Anything by Bob Calvin.
That must be a comedy.
It sounds like it. And Bob is a wonderful director, so I know he'll do a great job for us. So also we're hoping that people will take time out to come to see the tribute to Arthur Miller, one of the most important writers of our time.
Well, you see, you're never too old to learn. I just learned something that Joan Copeland is Arthur Miller's assistant.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming near to the other end of the show.
Oh.
The second time, see how it goes so smoothly? You have so much to tell us. I have the trivia question for today is, who discovered Lana Turner? And if you dare say who is Lana Turner, now that picture, one of them is Lana Turner. It's a very famous photo. And you could write to me if you know the answer. Who discovered, not that where, because I think everybody knows where it was, but who discovered her there and signed her up for a contract? And the rest is history. So if you could tell me that, I will have a contest here with all the people, and I'm going to pick a name, and that name is going to be a guest on my show.
How lucky.
Yes. So, for the parting words, we want everybody to come to Guildhall. They have programs all year round, not only during the season. Off season, there's a lot of fun things to do there, especially I'm pushing the naked stage.
Yes.
And I hope a lot of people will come and sign up.
You know, the naked stage is very important to us because it's experimental stage. You can bring a new play to us, you can try out an acting part, you can do a reading. There are all kinds of ways that this community can use that naked stage opportunity, and it's on Tuesday nights, all during the fall and spring. So I hope people do take advantage of that. It's free.
Yes, I certainly am taking advantage of it.
Good.
And I'm telling everybody about it, and I'm pushing it all around. Well, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, and thank you so much, Ruth. It's been a pleasure, and we could talk for hours all about you. I could read more of your resume and pick out some other things.
Well, thank you very much.
And,
It's always a great pleasure to be here, Judy. Thank you.
And the Guildhall, I love all the people there. It's a wonderful place, and anything I could do, I always do. And I didn't thank the crew again. Michael, I told you to remind me to thank the crew. I'm not on anymore.